Every time I record a video wearing this dress, I think about this movie list that's called Historical in a Floral Dress, and it's all about like housewives having nervous breakdowns and stuff. I feel like this is a good nervous breakdown dress. Um, that's why I have it, just in case. Anyways, speaking of nervous breakdowns, tonight I watched Jane Campion's In the Cut, which is a film she originally developed with Nicole Kidman, and they had been trying to make this film for a number of years. And then when they finally, financing and everything all fell into place, Kidman was going through her divorce with Tom Cruise and felt like she needed to spend more time with her kids. And so the role eventually went to Meg Ryan. Now, I remember when this film came out, and there was a lot of hubbub about Meg Ryan doing her first nude scenes. And in a lot of the reviews, they reference the fact that she does her first nude scene. And I gotta say, I think it's a little sexist that's all they had to talk about in this film, was that she was naked, like, instead of her performance or, anything else. It was just, she's naked. And some of the reviews, the way they talk about the way she's naked, are like, if you have any doubt that women are objectified, read those reviews and then just, like, roll your eyes for many days. Now, that's not to say that this is a great film. It's an interesting film, and because it's campy and it's got lots and lots of layers and nuance, and it's got a lot going on in it. I don't think that Campion's psychological style really fits in a thriller romance. But most of the movies that it's sort of aping are like, there's a bunch of these movies in the 80s. There's one called like Night Watch or Night something, Meryl Streep's in it, that they're not good movies to begin with. So, trying to make a good movie out from a thriller romance genre that's generally filled with bad movies is sort of like trying to make a, silk purse out of a sow's ear. It's like, it just doesn't work. That said, the cast is really great. It's Meg Ryan and a very anti-Meg Ryan role, which just sort of proves that you shouldn't stereotype actresses into only playing one kind of role, or actors in general. Everyone should be able to try their hand at a breadth of things and not get typecast. Unfortunately, especially women who make romantic comedies, they get stuck in the romantic comedy sort of realm. And I love romantic comedies, but then they try to do something else and they're belittled and they're like, go back to the romantic comedies where we don't take you seriously anyways. And it's like just a lot of layers of bullshit going on. So I'm glad she got to do something different, and I thought she was great. And there were definitely instances where I could see how the role was definitely sort of tailor-made for Kidman. But I don't think Ryan did a bad job. I think she was actually quite great in this film. Then you have Mark Ruffalo, who is always good, in everything that he does. I've seen him in a lot of movies, running the gamut of, ridiculous romantic comedy, like View from the Top, all the way to, Zodiac. He's always good. So he's good, and and then there's Jennifer Jason Leigh, who is great, and then Kevin Bacon, which I will get to the Kevin Bacon part in a second. So the film's about a woman who she's a 40-something woman who lives alone in New York. She has her sister who, they go back and forth between each other's apartments because they're each other's anchor in life. And the Meg Ryan character finds herself in the middle of a murder investigation because the woman who was murdered, part of her body wound up in her garden. And then things take a turn for the worse. I'm not really going to say what, because that would be a big spoiler. But as this investigation unfolds, she ends up having sort of a liaison with the Mark Ruffalo character, who is the cop investigating, but may be the murderer. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. And so she starts thinking that anyways. And then Kevin Bacon is this guy that she was dating, who she's trying to get out of her life, but he just keeps creepily popping back up. And Bacon is really good at being charming, nice guy and then turning on a dime to being this complete terrifying asshole. And I thought that his role was interesting because I've dated at least one guy who was like that, who seemed super nice and then just turned. And it's amazing how many men are like that, and how that's often not portrayed from the woman's point of view. So it was interesting to see that in this film, and to see it in contrast with the Ruffalo character, who's a little bit rough and tumble and a little dangerous, but that's because he's a cop, you know. But she's so used to this other guy and the way that men in New York are, that she's not sure where the line is between like good guy and psychopath anymore. And if anything, it's sort of a film about what it's like to be an older single woman who wants love, but like is at the point where everyone who's left is probably left for a reason, you know, like nobody wants them anymore, because they're psychopaths. So there's just a lot going on in this movie. A lot of imagery, dream imagery. There's Jane Campion's great with her dream imagery, and so there's this great sort of really pointed commentary on marriage, where she tells a story about how her mother and her father met and got engaged, and she keeps reimagining it in almost a Victorian-esque way, but it's also like framed like it's a horror moment. And then there's a really gruesome scene in that like dream imagery that's just gruesome and hilarious at the same time. And I read a few reviews that thought that this movie should be NC-17, and I'm like, I know this was 12 years ago, but the sex wasn't really all that intense, other than, I don't know, there was cunnilingus. And then at one point, like, the Meg Ryan character, like, takes charge, let's put it that way, and, like, handcuffs Mark Ruffalo and then has her way. It's consensual, but she's definitely in charge in that moment. And that's, like, it. So, like, and then there's blood, but, like, and, like, occasionally a decapitated head, but it's not any more gruesome than anything like Hannibal has done. So it's like, I guess, you know, maybe in 2003 it was shocking and someone thought it should be NC-17, but look at it now and it's like not even as gruesome as Hannibal. So, and that was on primetime. Hannibal, paving the way for gruesome blood and sex. Thank you, Brian Fuller. Anyways, I enjoyed this film. You can rent it on Amazon for $3. Came out in 2003. I'm still not sure if I liked it, but I definitely didn't hate it, and it's a film that probably improves upon repeat viewings because I feel like there's just so many layers. It is written and directed by Jane Campion. She co-wrote it with Susanna Moore, who wrote the novel on which it's based. And you should check it out because, you know, and I'll maybe watch it in November because November is Noirvember, and I should have saved it because it's kind of a noir-esque, it has a noir-esque feel to it. I kind of wish I had waited. Here, wait, everybody, hold on. Kitten! No, look in the camera. She really hates that. Fanny, come on. Come on. There she is. Look at that happy cat. Look at that happy cat. Okay, we'll end the review with a happy cat. So that was Jane Campion's In the Cut from 2003. You should check it out.